Be a solid race in this Camping World East Series. All right-hand turns. There is one left-hander that you have to deal with. Hi, folks. Mike Hogwood here along with Dan Pardis. Dan's second road race of the season in this series. These guys, I think, are genuinely excited about this race today.
Well, they are, Mike. And talking to these drivers, not one of them had one bad thing to say about this racetrack. New pavement, tremendous grip. Very, very important for a race car driver. It makes for really good racing. When a driver likes it, man, it's going to be a good, fast race here today.
We're getting down towards the stretch run of this season in the East Series, so the point standings are very important. Matt Kobaluk has won 2 races in a row, and you got the youngster Trevor Bain out of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated right behind. This is going to be a great race to the finish.
Well, it is, Mike, and Matt Kobaluk, that team is on a roll. Like you said, they won the last 2 races, but not only that, they won at Watkins Glen, the last road race that we've been to. That means a lot. Matt Kobaluk is one good road racer.
All right, well, Austin Dillon, you saw there, was in 3rd place, and that's because he is credited with last place at Adirondack. Dan, he was penalized. His car did not pass post-race inspection, so Austin Dillon today has to bounce back from that. Earlier, the 3rd member of our broadcast team had a chance to talk to him.
One of the guys who came away from Adirondack first, happy, but then unfortunately stripped of his 3rd place finish because of some NASCAR violations. Austin, I know you didn't have anything to do with it, but give us an idea of what did happen.
Yeah, it was a team mistake. I mean, it just happens, you know, and I wish we could have came along with the 3rd place because it was a tough-fought battle. The car was really tight, and it was just a tough finish, and it happens, you know.
And unfortunately, your crew chief, Lance Dieters, is no longer going to be with us the next few races. Talk about the new crew chief coming in to fill his shoes.
Yeah, we got Shane. He's a great crew chief. He's made a lot of success in the Nationwide Series and other series, so he's a good crew chief, and we'll be fine.
All right, thank you, Natalie. Qualifying was rained out yesterday, which means our points leader, Matt Kobaluk, will start this race out front, and Natalie is with him.
Thanks, guys. And, you know, Matt, we were joking yesterday that you weren't going to need to worry about passing anyone because you were going to start up front and stay up front. But what's it going to take for you to be able to do that?
You know, I mean, we got to take each lap nice and easy, stay on course. You know, set a good pace is really all I need to do. We had a good car yesterday in practice, and I don't expect anything different today. It's a long race. You know, I'm not going to burn anything up too early, so we're just going to set a good pace, and if guys want to run a little harder than me, I'm going to let them go. Everyone's got a pit, so we'll see how that all cycles out.
Well, guys, this is sure the one with the experience. He's already won here twice at this track, so he's starting up front. Will he make it 3 in a row?
And going for his 3rd win in a row in this series. We're ready to get the engines fired, so let's head back down trackside now and get our command to fire engines.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
I'm not hearing anything through my headset.
Well, as you hear, the engines have roared to life down on pit road. It'll be a while, though, before we take the green flag, this 1.53 road course. They'll take a couple of revolutions around, so we'll be back to introduce the starting grid to you and take the green flag from here at Lime Rock. Today's race is brought to you by Camping World, the official RV and outdoor retailer of NASCAR. So we're about ready to get going here with the Mohegan Sun 200 here at Lime Rock Park. Some 32 cars will start this race here today. And as we told you, qualifying was rained out yesterday. That means that they'll have to start on points, which if you are a part-time racer, that is going to put you back towards the back and at a big disadvantage. Matt Kobaluk, Trevor Bain, top 2 in the points, will start on row 1. And then Austin Dillon, who's got to kind of regroup a little bit here today.
Well, he does. You know, they got a little flustered there at the last race because of that DQ, but this team's a strong team. Austin Dillon's been around racing all his life. They'll bounce back just fine.
And Ricky Carmichael, Mark Davis, 2 young up-and-comers in row 3. Row 4, Brian Eichler, who's led the most laps in this series this season. Eddie McDonald, this is an incredible story about Eddie just being in the race today. He's going to have to go to the back of the field, but we'll tell you more about that as we get underway with our race. Jeffrey Earnhardt and Jody Lavender are on row 5. Row 6, Steve Park, who has won in 5 different series in NASCAR. got to watch out for him today and Peyton Sellers.
Steve's been around a long time, got a lot of experience. So you got a lot of rookie guys out here, but a lot of guys that's been around the road races a long time also.
Row 7, you saw Jamie Hayes there. Row 8, Max Dumouriez, one of the fastest in practice, but he had to start back in the middle of the pack again because of these point standings. And this is where it's going to hurt guys like Max Dumouriez.
Yeah, Max is, excited about it, and he'll be just fine. Justin Laughlin filling in today in the 2-car, and Eddie Sharp racing. He's a good road racer also, and they got a good car. They feel good about winning this race today also.
Row 10, Brian Chu and Ryan Duff. Now on row 11, there's Mike Olson, former champion. He's not running a lot of races, so he too has to start near the back. He contended at a chance to win it here a year ago. 16-year-old Alex Kennedy and young Chase Mattioli, who's had some drama. He wrecked in practice, had to go to another car. Eric Curran in his first East Series race. But this is a guy who's a true road racer.
Well, he's a tough racer. He's got a lot of races under his belt here at Lime Rock, and that's so important. He's racing. We'll talk about him a little bit more, but he's racing that Corvette Series, filling in today for Teddy Marsh.
On row 14, the veteran in the series, Mike Johnson, Jason Holhouse, who's only run a handful of East Series races, but he's a good road racer, as is Larry Maloney, who raced in this race here a year ago. And then on row 16, Dale Quarterly is there, and Alessandro Ciampi is also, he is from Italy, who's running his first East Series race. He's a known road racer over in Europe and in Italy. We'll take a look at our track map here, and again, 1.53 miles, the official distance around this Lime Rock Park.
Like Mike, like you mentioned earlier, one left-hander on this track, so it's a type of an unusual little road race course. Only one left-hand turn on this racetrack, so a driver and a team usually sets up a little bit more for the right-handers, a little bit more camber in that left front tire to get that car through some of them right-handers.
Dan, as you look at this, where is the place to pass? Because passing is so hard on a track like this.
Well, off turn 7 is the best spot. Down this front straightaway there on the outside of pit row, as it showed, is where you're going to see a lot of passing at. That's the longest front stretch that you have.
Here are our keys to the race today.
Stay on course, Mike. The biggest and most important thing on a road race is always stay on course. Even if you get in a corner and have to get down on the brake hard, try not to flat spot tires, stay on course. Smooth shifted. Take care of that transmission. A lot of shifting goes on out here today. You've got to take care of that training because you got to be there at the end. And one of the most important things here is wheel hopping, Mike. When you get down in a corner, try not to downshift too hard and get down on the brakes too hard where you cause them rear wheels to start hopping, because you'll actually tear the drive shaft or a U-joint out of a car real easy and your day would be over. So you got to be good on them brakes to keep that car from wheel hopping.
We heard Matt Kobaluk say that you got to make some stops. You will not stop for tires in this race, but you're going to have to stop at least once for fuel.
Yeah, talking to most crew chiefs, it's looking like a 15 to 25 lap window. If that's under green flag conditions, then they can go all the way towards the end of it. So it is going to take at least one stop.
All right, looks like we're about ready to get a start here as the pace car has pulled off onto the pit lane. Matt Kobaluk will lead him to the green. Trevor Bain alongside him, and the green is out.
Outside 2. Or 1, sorry. Outside, clear.
And Kobaluk heads
One car back.
Big Ben, there's Max Dumouriez, 3 wide. You can't do that at Lime Rock. Dumouriez trying to gain some ground, and there's already one car that is off the course. You cannot go 3 wide here.
No, you can't. And then you got to get down on the brakes so hard. It's so important, especially this early in the game, Mike. You got to take it easy. But Max Dumouriez, there's Ricky Carmichael also off course. We talked about it. You got to stay on course to be there at the end of this racetrack.
Well, Ricky Carmichael, of course, in his first year in this East Series, it is not an easy thing to do. It's easy to talk about and say stay on course, but when you're racing at speed, it's a little more difficult as you see him now heading onto that back stretch.
Well, Ricky's used to being a little bit off course out there on that grass and dirt. He's an ex-motocross rider like he has done a great job of keeping that car back on the racetrack.
The first of 82 laps is on the board here. Matt Kobaluk leads lap 1. Trevor Bain, young 18-year-old driver for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, right behind him. The 11th car you see there, Jesus Hernandez. He is third. Mark Davis in the 18. Davis, a developmental driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, right on his heels.
Guys, a lot of times these guys first, second time here, trying to get used to this track, got to get some heat tires. Talking to the crew chiefs, Mike, they repaved this facility, but what the problem is the tires actually need to go through a heat cycle first. So a lot of the drivers and the crew chiefs are hoping for an early caution here within the first 10 laps of these tires can actually get hot, cool back down, go through a heat cycle, and then they'll last a little bit longer through the course of the day.
We heard Matt Kovaluk say he is not going to push it here early, but he has staked himself out to about a 15-car length lead as the cars come down the main straightaway. They closed this racetrack in June to repave it, and they didn't just lay down some asphalt. They actually dug up the whole racetrack.
Well, they did. They actually done a fine job, Mike. Spending some $5 million on this racing facility. Like you said, they actually ground the old asphalt up, which is the best thing you can do when you go resurface like that. So within a year or two, you don't have this crack.
There's the 3-car of Austin Dillon. 3 youngsters right there. Mark Davis right in front of him. Jesus Hernandez in the 11th car.
Good battle there. These guys keeping single file right now. I think that's a smart thing to do. Get panned out. Let's see what you got in your race car. It's going to take you a couple laps to see what happens.
And here they come, getting ready to come down that downhill underneath the bridge. That's where, right there's the bridge. This is where you're really on the gas. All the way to the floor right here.
It's an exciting place in the race course. You just get down, coming down that hill, good hard run all the way down into the turn, and it just really carries all the way down into turn 6. Hard braking down into turn 6, then you set up for that, head towards that front straightaway.
Guy who's been really on the move, Justin Lofton, up into the top 10 in 7th place. You talked about him. He's a great road racer. Brian Eichler also in the top 10 now.
A lot of good cars back there, Mike. A lot of good road racing experience, including Max Dumouriez. These guys had to start a little marred back into the field because we started by points, but you're going to see as the race goes on, you're going to see a lot of shuffling in the cars here today. It's going to make for real good racing.
We talked about the driver of that 31 car, Eric Curry. He started near the back and has already made his way in the top 15. As you look at the number 8 car, that is Jeffrey Earnhardt. Earnhardt had a top 5 finish here 1 year ago in Lime Rock. Talking to him earlier today, he had high hopes about a strong finish here.
He did, and they came and tested here, and Jeffrey said, man, I had a good time. I said, did you run off course at all, Jeffrey? Come on, tell me the truth. He said, well, yeah, a little bit down the back straightaway the first day. He said, but I got it back on course. He said, but I had a great time, and he said, man, this road racing's kind of fun when you got a good car underneath you.
You saw Peyton Sellers right behind him. Jeffrey Earnhardt in the other road course race that has been run this season, which was at Watkins Glen, he finished 2nd. Matt Kovaluk won that race at Watkins Glen.
Jeffrey, and it takes a special driver to take the road race, and either you take to it or not. I talked to Ken Schrader. He's here today in this race, sponsored by Ricky Carmichael. Of course, Ken Schrader owns Ricky Carmichael's team. And he said, I said, do you like it here? Have you ever raced here? He said, I enjoy road racing, but I don't really enjoy it. It's just not my favorite follow backs. He says, just some tracks you like, some you don't. I'm not a real fan of road racing.
Yeah, but it will go down in history that Ken Schrader was the first winner here at Lime Rock in this series, the first race that they had here.
Exactly.
Schrader was the winner.
Mark Davis working on the inside of Trevor Bayne there.
You were mentioning Ken Schrader. He's got several cars in this race, not just Ricky Carmichael, but also the car of Jamie Hayes. And then how about Chase Mattioli, the youngster driving car 27 wrecked yesterday, didn't have a backup car. And Ken Schrader says, here, use one of ours.
Very, very kind gesture. I talked to Mr. Mattioli. He said Ken Schrader came down and said, hey, I got a car. Wanted to roll it out. They had to change the transmission on the car and the fuel cell because the fuel cell's a little bit different on these road races. Put some decals on the car, and there he goes. He's out here today racing. Awful nice of Ken Schrader to offer that to Matty.
There you see Matt Kovaluk and coming down the hill, turning right onto that main straightaway right in front of us. Put another lap on the board. Kovaluk, as you just saw there, won the last 2 races. He won in Nashville, and he won at Adirondack. And he is what they call hot, leading the points.
Loves these road racing, talking to him. He said, man, I love coming to this place. And, of course, they repaved it. It's kind of a different animal, but I'm getting used to it. Came and tested here, and things were good.
That is the Mattioli car, the 27 car going a lap down that you see.
See the 1 car there, Mike, and Trevor Bayne. He has pulled right up on Matt Kovaluk. He looks like he has really flexed his muscle these last few laps.
Well, at one point, we made a point that Kovaluk had a lead of about 15 car lengths, and that has shrunk to nothing. But you heard Matt Kovaluk tell Natalie Taylor before the race, it's early on. If somebody wants to run hard and go by me, I'm going to let him go. So you might see him let Trevor Bayne, the youngster out of Knoxville, Tennessee, get by him.
Well, I think so. That'd be a smart move.
No pressure. +4.
There's crew chief for Matt Kovaluk telling him, Matt, no pressure. Just take your time, be cool, use your head. Trevor Bayne, though, he is on a mission.
But what a story Trevor Bayne is, just 17 years old. He was the Pro Cup Rookie of the Year in 2006. Had a second-place finish at Adirondack last race. Won at Thompson about a month ago in Thompson, Connecticut. Trevor Bayne making quite an impact in his first season in the E-Series, first full season, and he is now number 2 in the point standings.
Yeah, but last lap, Mike, he actually run a 0.6 of a second faster than Matt Kobaluk. So Trevor Bayne right now appears to be the fastest race car on the racetrack, pulling up to Matt Kobaluk. But you know what? Catching him one thing to get around him another. So he's just going to have to be real careful, tiptoe around Matt Kobaluk.
You know, every driver I talk to, Dan, says this is a great course. We love running on it. But boy, is it hard to pass.
Oh, it really is, Mike. We talked about how narrow this place is. It's extremely narrow. So if you pass a guy, you really got to set him up. They're coming off of turn 7, if you can, down the front straightaway and try and get a good run off turn 7 to pass him down that long front straightaway before you get back down into it.
Saw Alex Kennedy a moment ago in front of us gaining some positions. Curran continues to climb up through the pack. Those are your biggest movers right now in the field.
See these guys setting the pace. Trevor Bayne's, smart right now. He should follow Matt Kobaluk a little bit and kind of see exactly what groove he's running because he knows Matt Kobaluk is the master of this racetrack. Kobaluk sliding way outside.
Low in the middle of 1 and 2. He's on the bottom, coming off of 2.
Matt Kobaluk spotter, a little bit of trouble down in 1.
Oh, there's John Salemi. Looks like he's had some trouble. And there's going to be at least a caution in that corner, I believe. We'll see.
See the flagman waving the blue flag there in that corner. That shows you that there is a local caution, which is kind of cool on these racetracks, these road courses. It's just a caution in that corner. It's alerting the drivers. There's a problem in that corner. Slow down. Be careful. You do not get a full course caution.
And that's a tough break for John Salemi out of Nashua, New Hampshire.
Looks like possibly, Mike, the caution is out right now. NASCAR threw the caution out.
Full course caution has just come out for John Salemi, who has gone off course and his car is not under power. So Salemi has brought the first caution of the day out here on lap number 9. Matt Kobaluk, the points leader in this E-Series, has led every lap so far here at Lime Rock. We're under caution after 10 laps here in the Mohegan Sun 200. John Salemi slid off course, but then there was an even worse problem than that. Justin Lofton blew up on the race course, and he has put a lot of oil down in that 2 car, and looks like the thing just let go coming down the hill.
Yeah, it did. Just looks like possibly lost the bottom side of that motor, and man, did it drop some oil. Sprayed a lot of oil down on the racetracks. It's going to take a few laps for NASCAR to get that oil good and clean, especially that part of the racetrack.
Well, Justin Lofton already out of the race car. Let's go down to Natalie Taylor.
Yeah, guys, people are taking advantage of this yellow right now to get work done in their car, and I don't think there's ever a good time for your car to blow up, but I mean, you were just coming down into pit lane and it went.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate for the Greenville Toyota, Lofton Cattle Toyota Camry this weekend. The first road race, first time with the Busch East car this year, and it's real unfortunate. We had probably the best car out there. I couldn't tell you how many cars I passed on those first couple laps, but it's real unfortunate for everyone at Eddie Sharp Racing and everyone on the number 2 Busch East car or Camping World East car, and it's unfortunate, but we're gonna go get on an airplane and go to Springfield and go ARCA racing tomorrow.
Well, there you go. There's a positive spin on it. And Mike, Dan, back up to you to see what's going on now during this yellow.
This is a driver with a lot of talent, and I made this point before he blew up, Dan, that this was the car that was on the move. He was running in the top 10. Justin Lofton, you and I have seen him race in the West Series. Got a lot of talent, and that's always a good ARCA race at Springfield.
Oh man, that's at least it doesn't hurt near as bad as a driver. You're leaving here, you're jumping on a plane, going to another race, especially to go run Springfield. I've run there in an ARCA race on the dirt, just a lot of fun. Eddie Sharp, talking Eddie Sharp, he's here today. Johnny Allen, the crew chief on that car. Johnny's been around a long time, worked for James Finch. Jeff Purvis, been on a lot of Busch and Cup teams through the years. They have got an awesome team here. Just some really good chemistry, and man, with Justin Lofton behind the wheel, that's just one heck of a team.
Well, while we are under caution and cleaning up this racetrack, I want to make a point now that there are a number of cars. Here comes our leader onto pit road. Our leader, Matt Kobaluk, is going to come down and take fuel. This is a surprise to you, Dan?
Well, it is. It's early in the
All right, everyone came with us.
I think he's figuring that they're going to have some cautions a little bit later, and they'll be able to stroll on.
4, 3,
Talking everybody, they
2,
were talking like 15,
1,
20
right here.
laps. So, we'll just have to see. This is some different strategy that these crew chiefs talked about earlier.
Well, just about all the leaders are now
Yep,
on
you're
pit
full. Go
road.
ahead.
There's the 8 of Earnhardt. And you see Kovaluk, and there, the stop sign is out at the end of pit road.
There's still some cars coming down behind them. They've got to wait till the tail end of the field gets by, and then they'll open that track back up.
Made for quite a traffic jam down at the end of pit road, but here early in the race, we talked about that they can stop for fuel, not for tires, and all of your leaders have come down except for, it looks like, Mark Davis did not come down, Max Dumoulin did not come down. Those seem to be the only two. Maybe Steve Park, another one who did not come down, but it looks like that Mark Davis, as we cycle through here, might inherit this lead.
And I tell you, Mark Davis has got a good race car. He was running back there in the top 5. So this might be some good strategy for him. And also Max Dumoulin. We talked about Max. He's an awesome road racer. He knows how to get around this place also. He had to start back in the field today due to the point situation. But look, he's second place right now. So this might have been some real good strategy for Max Dumoulin and that whole team.
Well, Matt Kovaluk has been the story of this race so far. And before the race began, we got a ride around this Lime Rock Park course with Matt Kovaluk.
Stretch. Third gear, fourth gear, fastest part of the track right here. Coming down into turn 1, heavy braking. Downshift to third, downshift to second. Hard to the right. Off the brake, just coasting through here, gassing a little bit. Gas a little more. Coming up turn 2 here, staying in second gear. Only left-hander right here. Pretty tough part of the track. It feels like you're going real slow. Hard on the gas right here. Brake, hard on the gas again. Coming up through here, second gear, third gear, wide open right through here. Hitting the brakes hard right here. Hard downshift second, hard right. The uphill, little boost the throttle, little third gear. Hard on the brakes right here. Into turn 9, hard right-hander off the brakes. Coming to the bridge, third gear, full throttle. Coming down in, on the brake a little bit. Now hard on the gas, hard on the gas. Get up to third gear, fourth gear. And there's a lap around Lime Rock.
A lot of work in that race car to get around this track, isn't there?
A lot going on there. Man, that's a lot of fun. And, Matt Kovaluk took us around last year. I don't know if you in just a rental car. I think it was your rental car, wasn't mine, because I wouldn't do that. But man, that was quite the thrill.
Yeah, don't get me in trouble with the rental car company. Taking a few laps around Lime Rock Park.
We went slow, though, luckily. Good thing you didn't let me drive, or we would have put a dent or two.
Oh, I've seen you drive. You still drive like you're on the racetrack. All right. Max Dumoulin has now inherited the lead, and this is an interesting story here that guys who did not stop are banking, I think, Dan, on getting another caution here in the next 10 laps or so.
Well, they are, and history has proven, you'll see another caution here probably in the next 20 laps, I would have to say, and if we will, these guys should be okay on their pit window, especially since we're riding around here under caution, but they've got to roll that dice, and obviously it put Max Dumoulin from the back to the front, so it's a big help for him and that whole team.
Well, 5 guys who did not stop, who were at the top of the field, are Max Dumoulin, Steve Park, Byron Chu, Alex Curran, who we talked about driving that Ted Marsh car number 31 that was awfully strong, and Austin Dillon. Those are your top 5 right now. Trevor Bayne started second in this race and is now, with Matt Kovaluk, all the way back in 17th place. More on him, here's Nat.
Followed him in to go ahead when he came into the pits, and also spent some time with Trevor yesterday and his crew chief Haskell Lavalette. Haskell was so encouraging on the radio, and his times are really good, his separate lap times. And Haskell was saying how Trevor's one of those guys that's patient when he knows when to be patient, and aggressive like he knows when to be aggressive. Kind of like Matt Kovaluk. So it'll be interesting to see when Trevor's going to actually move and if Matt will let him pass.
Well, I think right now it's a different situation with those guys back in the middle of the pack a little bit. Steve Park, by the way, now posted as the leader as Max Dumoulin has taken fuel himself. So Park will be the leader, and there's Trevor Bayne, youngster. What talent he has at only 17 years old. Well, one thing we know, the finish here is going to be exciting. It's been that way the last couple of years. Last year, we had one heck of a race here at Lime Rock Park, and while we have a moment under caution, want to go back to last year and show you some of the things that happened. Matt Kobaluk actually won the race, but he had to really battle to get it done. And as we look back at
position will be Mark Davis out of
last year, it was Kobaluk starting up front once again. James Pritchard got off course. We haven't really seen anybody get off course like that yet today. That yellow car is Mike Olson behind him. There's Mark Davis, who spun and got into the fence. Matt Kobaluk pretty much kept that car clean, but look at Olson. Olson, who's in this race today, was right on his bumper all day long, including the end of the race.
What a finish.
Olson got off course, and there comes Kobaluk to win at Lime Rock. It was a great day for him, but still last year was filled with disappointment for Matt Kobaluk. He did not win the series championship. He's never won it. This year, with his sponsor, Mohegan Sun, adorned on that bridge, he seems to be in the best position in his career to claim an East Series championship.
He does, and he's pumped up his team, and he's a lot calmer as a driver. His whole team seems really, really at ease, and that's a big thing as a team, to be relaxed and just things just kind of fall where they fall. And he's not really pushing the issue hard of talking about winning this championship all the time. It's just kind of happening by itself. And that's been a real proven year for Matt Kobaluk.
Well, they're still trying to clean up this race course. It has taken a while, as just before they enter the main stretch, there's still folks down there putting Speedy Dry out on the racetrack. There was a lot of oil dumped down by Lofton. And as we told you a moment ago, Steve Park, who we posted as the leader, as Max Dumouriez, came down onto pit road. It'll be Park, Alex Curran, Austin Dillon, Jamie Hayes, and the 81 car of Holhouse is also there. Jason Holhouse out of Toronto, Canada, will be posted in the top 5 when we go back. But those 5 have not stopped. And Dan, what did you talked to a lot of the crew chiefs about fuel and about how many laps they could go on fuel here this track.
They talk 15 to 25 laps because you got little different engine packages. You got the open motor, which is the old motor with the smaller carburetor, and then you got the spec motor today that's got the bigger carburetor on it. So the newer spec motor will go about 5 laps less. So it just depends on what engine combination. But most of them were talking from lap 15 to 25. But we did see a lot of them come in here early on lap 8. So we'll just have to kind of see how this falls out.
Well, the pace car is pulled off. Looks like we're going back green flag racing, and Steve Park will lead this field to the green.
Boy, it'd be nice to see Steve Park have a good run here today. That team really needs a good run. They've been kind of struggling, bouncing around, and he's been in the kind of wrong place, wrong time sometime this year. But I'd like to see that team have a good finish here today.
Steve Park, 40 years old, out of East Northport, New York, ran in this series a decade or so ago, and then was spotted by Dale Earnhardt Sr. and went to work with DEI, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, driving what was then the Busch Series. He won in that series. He's won in the Sprint Cup Series. He's won in the Truck Series. He's won in Modifieds, won in this series. 5 different series that the driver of that 35 car has won in racing.
Yeah, and that means a lot. I mean, he's having a lot of fun here today. He enjoys running in this Camping World Series. He says, I love coming out, running with these guys. Not near as much pressure as I have on the Busch or the Cup side. Just come have a good time, kind of get to run some of the Northeast where I was born and bred and cut my teeth. So Steve Park having a good time running in this Camping World Series.
His only top 5 of the season came on the other road course race this year. That one at Watkins Glen, he finished 5th. And right behind him, there's Alex Curran in the 31. And this is a guy that, if everybody was picking a sleeper here today, it was going to be Alex Curran in that 31 car out of East Hampton, Mass. This is the car that James Busher drove last year and has driven several times to strong finishes in this series. But Curran has won in many divisions here at Lime Rock, including some in some 8-cylinder cars. So he's run some big cars. He won a lot of Corvette races, and he has many different series, but he knows how to road race.
Well, he does, and he knows this racetrack. Talking to Curran before the race, he said, the only thing is I've never really driven one of these big, heavy 3,400-pound stock cars. It is different. They don't stop well. You got to really turn them and muscle them to turn them right, turn them left. He said, but I'm having a lot of fun with this team. doing this. And Teddy Marsh is just a great team owner to have to be able to come do this. He drives Teddy Marsh's road race Corvette type of cars on the other side. They also house them in their shop and rents them there also. So he is their normal driver on their road race side. Teddy said, hey, why don't you come on over and run some of these Camping World Series races with us and show us what you got.
Center of your screen there, that's the 61. That is Mike Olson, who we showed you a moment ago, ran so strong here last year. He's pretty much retired as a driver and now is basically the owner of Max Dumouriez's car, but there are a few races that he can't get out of his system, and this is one of them.
No, he loves this place, and he loves Loudon, New Hampshire. He's going to run both the New Hampshire races this year. He said, man, I really enjoy that track. I love coming here to Lime Rock. And again, he started in the back. He's worked his way up to 8th place right now, so he's having a good run today in that 61 car.
Matt Kobaluk now back up to 12th. The guy who's not gaining any ground, the one that was just talked about a moment ago, Trevor Bain, he's back now, dropped all the way down to 20th. So Trevor Bain, something going on there. There's another car that is off course. That is Whole House, the lone Canadian in the field today.
Trevor gets her turned around. He's back underway. That's one good thing about the grass. It's a little bit more forgiving. You got some room between the grass and the guardrail, so you can spin one around, get back underway, and still have a good day at it.
We're 20 laps in. Steve Park is our leader. Pole sitter Matt Kovaluk running 12th after he has come down and made a fuel stop. So the stops are, there's Kovaluk, who just passed another car, went by Hernandez.
Kovaluk picking his way. He's got to be, patiently aggressive. He's got to get back up towards the front, but he's got to be careful through this traffic, not to hurt his car, knock the fenders in, get a fender down on a tire, and his day would be over.
Boy, look how wide they're getting there.
Oh, Mark
That is
Davis.
Mark Davis, who almost got knocked off the course.
Man, they were 3 wide here for a minute. Mark Davis chose better and thought better, got down hard on the brake pedal, put it back in line. Smart move by Mark Davis.
Well, Matt Kovaluk so far has kept the fenders clean on that car. Kovaluk, the last lap, was the fastest car on the racetrack.
And you heard Matt Kovaluk talk about the brakes here. A lot of braking goes on at this racetrack. We've got big brake fans on these cars. They've got switches to turn the fans off and on to keep them brakes cooled down. The last thing you want a brake pedal to do is fade real hard. See how hard they get down on that brake pedal? The nose just dives on these cars. It's so important to have some good brakes. The rotors on these cars are 1 5/8" in the front, a lot of them. Some guys choose to go a little bit bigger, but 1 5/8" rotors in the front, 6-puck calipers, same thing on the back, maybe a little bit smaller to really help these cars stop as they get down in the corner.
That car, that 31 car, with James Boucher driving, finished 6th in this race last year. So it is a good car.
See, Eric currently the leader. Like you said, he's really working towards the front. Man, he is really doing a great job here today. And again, a lot of experience on this racetrack, been around here a long time.
But Danny's approaching that window where he's going to have to stop for fuel, and you do not want to stop under green.
No, you don't. We talked about that. We had probably some 5 laps of caution. So when we get over that 30, 35 lap mark, he could be in trouble. So he's got to be careful on fuel. But I tell you, Mike, if you look at the weather around here, it's really clouding up, getting dark. I mean, some of these teams may be shooting for that lap 42, point, just so they get past that halfway point, possibly make it to the end, to that point anyways, and then see what happens in case we get some rain here.
Well, it's a gorgeous day here today, and there is some rain possibly forecast later this afternoon. Showers. We had showers yesterday. Matter of fact, it totally washed out qualifying. So maybe that is what Eric Curran is thinking as his team is now taking the lead with Austin Dillon.
Spotter of Matt Curran. Tell him clear off. And behind.
I thought I heard him say they're pitting this lap.
He may have said
Careful coming in, Eric. There's some dirt on the inside of the pit road right here. You're going through it right now. Stop on the sign. Stop on the sign.
Our leader is on pit road, Eric Curran.
Well, we just talked about it. You heard it. He is on pit road, and like we said, a lot of these teams will be running out of fuel by the time they get up in that lap 30 range. So we're going to have to watch. This is not what these guys wanted to happen.
Jamie Hayes also down on pit road. Whoa! Curran almost plowed into the rear of Jamie Hayes.
Man, that was a close call. That could have been devastating for Curran, but obviously getting through there scarless. Steve Park, another one on the racetrack right now, currently shown in the second position. He is probably going to need some fuel here shortly also.
And you know Austin Dillon is.
See Steve Park there, third car in your picture, right behind the 3-car Austin Dillon. Both these cars did not come down pit road for fuel, so we may see them go through a pit cycle here shortly also.
Brian Eichler, another one who is going to need to make a stop. Eichler is currently posted in the third position.
Steve Park, Waste Management sponsor on that car. Been with that team for some time.
We told you a moment ago, Trevor Bain has been having a lot of trouble. There he is sliding into the grass.
Good job. Possibly a tire going down with Trevor, because he did back up some 10 positions, and obviously the handling going away on that racetrack, but he did get back turned around. He is back up and away. Steve Park setting the pace.
Tell you what though, Matt Kovaluk, the guy who started out front, he's made his fuel stop. There's another car that is off track. That's Mattioli.
Wow.
Chase Mattioli is off course, and let's see if a caution is going to wave. Here it is, full course caution. Caution is out, and now a number of these drivers who have not taken fuel are going to have to come down on pit road. Steve Park is one of them. Austin Dillon making his way down pit road now. He's another one.
Yep, these guys were just pulling down pit row as this caution came out, so.
Boy, and some heavy damage to the front end of that Chase Mattioli car.
Tough break at the back of your screen there, at the very far back. You'll see him come through the corner. Looks like he's not able to turn that car. May have a left front tire down on that car. Not sure, but man, he was really toting the mail. Made hard impact with the tire barrier there on the inside of the wall. Good thing them tires were there, Mike, because they really saved that race car and also the impact that it would have taken on him.
Well, it did bring out a full course caution.
Mattioli appears to be out of the car. Okay, hopefully.
He's going to have to take a ride to the care center and get checked out. His second wreck of the weekend, and he has brought out the second caution of the day. Brian Eichler now inherits the lead here in the Mohegan Sun 200. Mike Hogwood, Dan Partis, Natalie Taylor with you. The reason we're in yellow again is because of Chase Mattioli putting it into the fence, actually into the tires.
Hard impact. You see way up high on your screen. There it comes off the corner. Possibly lost the left front tire, so the car not looking like it's able to turn real well, and bam, right into the wall.
And Dan, right after that, we made the point that two of the leaders, Steve Park and Austin Dillon, came down on pit road just as we were going to break. Well, NASCAR has determined that they came down pit road a little early. They're going to be penalized.
Yeah, they'll go to the tail end of the longest line, so really they would have gone to the back anyways, so it doesn't mean nothing to them. See, Strader loaned them that car, Mattioli that car, and unfortunately they're going to have to fix it also. So tough weekend for the Mattioli family here at Lime Rock.
You were talking about the weather a moment ago, Dan. It's been a gorgeous sky here most of the day today, but as we look up into the sky, you can see that there are a few dark clouds that are starting to creep our way.
It has really gotten dark here in the last 30 minutes or so, Mike. I'm not sure if these clouds are moving this way, but, you know, listen to the radio, hearing a lot of crew chiefs talking about it. You know, we got to get past that halfway point, you know, lap 41, 42. Let's see if we can get to that point, and let's just see what the race has to pan out from there, because if this rain comes, we have to be at least at the halfway point. If you're a driver, you want to be leading at that point.
It'll be interesting to note of the top five which have fueled. I know Scott Booley has not. He is posted third. I thought that Olson did. Brian Eichler, I know, has not. He is posted as the leader right now. And Matt Kovaluk has made his way into the top five. For more on that, let's go down to Neville.
Hey guys, I'm here with Perry Wayne, crew chief for Matt Kovaluk. And talk earlier, you guys wanted to hit right around 20 laps and you hit it a little early. Why did you make that decision?
Yeah, well, we were kind of forced to. I knew when that caution came out, that was really the first part of our pit window as far as fuel goes. But on the road course, it's tough because you always get a green-white checker at the end, and you want a little cushion there. So we'd rather pit a little bit later, but we're going to try and conserve as much fuel. Matt's really taking it easy on the gas pedal under caution, try not to, you know, put a lot of gas through the carburetor. We've adjusted the carburetor a little bit different this year than we did last year, so hopefully we can get a little bit better mileage. And the car's running strong. mean, the crew's done an awesome job, so hopefully we can come home with a victory here today.
Okay, a lot of hopefullys in that sentence, and one we may want to add is hopefully these dark clouds don't bring anything down. That's something you and I were just chatting about.
Yeah, that's we've been doomed here by rain in the past, that's for sure. So hopefully these clouds stay off and we can get this whole deal in.
And Perry, last question. I spent a lot of time listening to teams on the scanner. I notice you don't say much to Matt. Is it because of his experience, or is that just the relationship that you two have?
Well, I think it's a relationship we have. We're both been together for so long that I'll ask him under caution, how's the car, and he can relate to me how it's going. But I try to stay off the radio and let the spotters, especially on a road course, because we have 4 spotters out here, and we've got to keep the radios open for them to relay to Matt if there's a wreck or anything. So I don't need to be talking over them, that's for sure.
Okay, I lied. Not last thing. This is the last thing. How important is it if you don't conserve fuel? Do you have enough to go the rest?
I think we're going to have enough. I think we'll get enough cautions. It's going to be really, really close. Let's say the last 5-6 laps. We're going to be kind of nervous here, and we're going to have a gas can ready to go, but it'll be close.
Well, it'll be close, but you can tell this team sure has the confidence to back it up, and the car from what it sounds like.
All right, thanks, Natalie. So fuel's going to be an issue for the leader in the Camping World East Series. Look at his history the last 3 times here, Dan. 1 in 05, second a couple of years ago, and last year in that dramatic finish with Mike Olson, won the race again.
Yeah, just totally consistent here and very, very confident at this racetrack. And again, as a driver, that's what you want. You want to be confident at a racetrack and also know how to get around there. There's no better feeling, and that's why Matt Kobluk comes to Lime Rock and just runs so well because of the confidence that he has in his car, his team, and also his ability to be able to get around this racetrack.
All right, now he has the fuel on board, and he will restart 4th. There's Chase Mattioli. And maybe if I could ask Natalie another question, if she could go down to Mike Olson's pit, because that's the only other leader that we have a real question about, and see if Olson has taken on fuel, because I know Eichler has to come in, and I know Booley has to come in. Eichler posted as the leader, Booley 3rd. Well, maybe we have word now that Eichler has been in. So if maybe we get a word from Natalie on Eichler, Olson, and Hernandez. If those 3 have been in, then that's going to be quite a race between Eichler, Olson, Kobluk, and Hernandez here.
Yeah, it will. And, depending on how them cars are feeling, Eichler's car has really come on here these last few laps, especially his times on the board have been extremely fast. So Brian Eichler also having a good race car here today.
Eichler has led more laps than anybody else in this series this year, and the question now is going to be simply one of gas. Who has the fuel to go the distance?
Yeah, it is, and it's still a long race too, Mike. You've got to take care of your equipment, you've got to take care of the gearbox, your brakes. I mean, as these races go on, you do wear the brakes out. I mean, you do wear the brake pads down. You got to be easy on that stuff and take care of that equipment. And in practice, you really can't do that. You can only go out there and run 20, 30 laps. You really can't simulate a whole race because it costs so much money.
Well, you can see what a beautiful part of the country it is here, the rolling hills. And I know just driving here to this racetrack, it's like driving back through history in a lot of old towns that were founded in the mid-1700s. And there in the background behind the track, you see the dark storm clouds brewing. Well, we just got a report from Natalie, who reported to us that Olson has stopped. So Eichler, Olson, Kobluk, and Hernandez, 4 of the top 5 have stopped. Scott Booley still needs to make a fuel stop. He just posted 3rd. So Eichler and Olson looking awfully strong here today.
And Mike, we talked about how big this track is, and as we've seen the picture of it, NASCAR mandates that drivers have 3 spotters all the way around this racetrack. It's mandatory that you have 3 spotters around this racetrack, and that's so important for the safety of all the other drivers too, to have different spotters like that. That way, if there's a problem in a corner that you really can't see, because normally you would just have 1 spotter up on the roof of a tower, but with this track you cannot see all the way around it, so NASCAR does mandate 3 spotters around this facility.
And again, I want to make the point that when these guys come in, they cannot take tires. They can make some adjustments on their race car. They can take fuel, but that's it.
And that's good, Mike, because financially, it makes it so much more affordable for a driver to not have to put tires on. The big buck teams be coming in every time they come in, throwing tires at it, and it actually puts the little guy out of the race. So I think that's a good rule by NASCAR. Goodyear has developed an excellent tire that'll last the whole race here, and that's what racing's about.
Brian Eichler, who has 2 wins this season, South Boston and at Iowa, we posted as the leader, 22 years old, out of San Diego, California, came east. He won 3 races last year in the West Series. Finished in the top 5 in points, running for Bill McAnally. And he is the only other driver other than Matt Kobaluk who is a multi-winner this season, and he has led the most laps. He had a tough race at Adirondack. He finished next to last, and the only reason he didn't finish last was because Austin Dillon got a penalty and was put there. But he's coming off a really tough race at Adirondack up in upstate New York. So Eichler hoping to get things going again, and that's been a really good story with no sponsor, just a family operation. They have done a great job.
Oh, they have, and it's got to be exciting for him and the whole family to be out here leading today. Joe Shearer Jr., the crew chief on that car. Doing
Your right side there. By a half. Easy in here, easy in.
You're in the spotter for Brian Eichler.
Coming outside, but you're good. You take it, clear by 1.
Look at Scott Booley on the outside in the
Take on your
26.
bumper.
Up through the S's, and as you can tell, the elevation heads uphill.
Good,
from
you
here.
can run that thing hard now. 2.
The uphill, and then what they call the backstretch here. How about Scott Booley? Boy, we haven't heard much from him. The 43-year-old driver hanging on to the top 5 in 3rd place.
fine job there, especially running up front with them guys. Thought about passing Eichler on the outside there for a minute, but thought a little better and dove back in line.
Now, look at this, Olson and Kovaluk. How many battles have those two had over the years?
Revisit that one, them 2 guys together. Seems like every year here.
Clear. Thank you, Michael. 3.
Good pass by Matt Kovaluk. The outside of Mike Olson.
Plus 4. Pass the line. Reel him in.
Matt Kovaluk spotter telling him pass the line, reel him in. Pushing these cars right to the edge. You see they run right out to the outside of that racetrack. Use every bit of racetrack that Ken might get, or sometimes getting over there in the dirt. That's what these road races are about.
Look at the front of Olson's car. Is that Olson? It looks like it's got a little nose damage on it.
Yeah, it looks like, I'm not sure that's
or Eichler.
Not Eichler, I believe it is. Like you said, he got in the back of somebody, possibly on a restart, or a car turned around there in front of him. Had nowhere to go, and man, that nose is really pushed down in front of that radiator section right there. As long as the water gets through the radiator and it cools good, Mike, he'll be fine. What he's got to worry about is an overheat issue.
Well, that's Eichler, and Kovaluk now in 2nd place. Last lap, Eichler was still the fastest car on the racetrack, but not by much.
Clear by 2.
The Eichler spotter talking to him, saying he's on your bumper. Be cool. Take it easy. That's hard to do, though, for a race car driver.
That's where the spotters are real important. Olson hanging on to 3rd. There's a spin. That's Booley.
Scott Booley turned around there, man, and he was having a good run.
You know, that might have been a case of Scott Booley, though, trying to just get that car to do more than was capable of, and there's another car that has blown an engine.
Wow.
We'll have to wait for the smoke to clear to see who that is.
Like the 17 car.
That is Alessandro Ciampi of Italy.
Fast track driving, Andy Hillenberg possibly fielding that car. See Booley down in the corner. He runs off course there, drops a wheel. Mark Davis had nowhere to go, just gets in the back of Mike. Not really fault of Mark Davis. Booley just got off the racetrack, and then you look in the rear here, there's Trevor Bain, Max Dumouriez just gets by. Then you see a car come into the picture here a little bit later, Steve Park.
There was some good evasive driving there, no doubt about it. And then there's the big smoker.
Yep. Luckily, he's off the racing surface. He's out of the racing surface, so hopefully cleanup on that problem will not be as bad as we think.
Well, Scott Booley is back underway, but his stay in the top 5 was short-lived. Under caution again here at Lime Rock Park in the Mohegan Sun 200. Brian Eichler is your leader. And we welcome you back to Lime Rock Park in the Mohegan Sun 200. 35 laps on the board. We are under caution with Brian Eichler, Matt Kobaluk, our leaders. Mike Olson, the veteran, who's only running, as Dan told you, a couple of races this season. Boy, he's making some noise here today. With more on Mike Olson and that 61 car, let's go down to Natalie Taylor.
Yeah, Mike, you were just saying that Mike Olson has only ran in a few races this year, but he's the only driver that has been in every Camping World E-Series race here at Lime Rock. There was only one he didn't start because of his father, the legendary Stub Fadden. He had to start one of the races, but ended up getting sick after the pace laps, so Stub was credited with the start. However, Mike got in the car, so that is why Mike has been credited with starting every race here. So I honestly don't know if there's another driver out there who knows this track better than Mike Olson.
Well, that's true, Natalie, and he, of course, was battling Kobaluk for the win last year. Shows he's still got that road course ability, as Scott Bully has made his way down on pit road and made his fuel stop. We invite you to join us for our next telecast of the NASCAR Camping World Series. A full field will take to the track for the Mansfield 150 at the Mansfield Motorsports Park. All the action comes to you live next Saturday, August 23rd at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. HDNet is your home to the NASCAR Camping World Series all summer long. It's going to be a fun day at Mansfield. We look forward to bringing you that race next week. On a different track than here. It's an oval, but it is a fast oval track, and we saw a good race there 1 year ago. Still under caution, as you can see.
Brian Eichler, Dan Partis, Mike Hogwood, in the HDNet booth. You copy?
11 crew chief said his drivers. Oh, I got you.
Hey, Brian, Dan Partis, Mike Hogwood, in the HDNet booth. You copy?
Yeah, 10-4 guys, go ahead.
Hey, bud, looks like you got a good road race hot rod underneath you there. You, how you on fuel? You set to go the rest of the way?
You know, I don't know. I think we got some lane coming. I definitely can keep this thing up front. Matt Coble looks pretty hungry right behind me. Guess we're going to have to go flat out and see where we all end up here.
Roger that, man. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it. I hope we will see you in victory lane.
You know what? I tell you this, you don't watch TV to find out the weather. You listen to NASCAR drivers. They know when the rain is coming, don't they? And you heard Brian Eichler say, I'm not worried about gas. The rain is coming. And he's worried about Matt Kobaluk right behind him as well. He should be. But I think he wants to hold on to that spot because they feel the weather is on the way.
Well, he does, and he knows he's got a tameless lion behind him. Matt Kobaluk, he just knows he's an animal, especially when you look in the mirror and you see a guy swerving right, swerving left, going all over the racetrack, and he just knows what an animal Matt Kobaluk is, especially on these road races. So he knows he's got his work cut out for him to hold Matt Kobaluk off. And also, Brian Eichler spotter telling him on the radio, hey, Matt is 0.2 of a second quicker than you are, especially down the backside and up the hill. He said, whatever you can do, if you can pick that up, you need to pick up the pace. But Brian Eichler, I promise you, is getting everything he can out of that race car at this point.
Again, Brian Eichler has led more laps than anybody else this season. Really made some noise. I keep hearing talk from Sprint Cup car owners that this is a guy they're taking a look at. Brian Eichler.
He is. He's a good kid, and he works on the race car, and he knows racing. He handles himself extremely well, so we'll just have to look out for him in the future.
And you wonder about his road course experience. Well, this is a guy who got started racing in the off-road desert series in Southern California. That's about as road race as you can get. There's green flag back out, and here comes Kobaluk on the restart. Boy, look at Matt. He got a great jump down on the inside.
Yep, Kobaluk on the outside. He knows he's got to do it now. That rain
So
coming.
door to door. Door to door. Still there. Big hole. Big hole.
Well, did a good job. Brian Eichler was able to pull Matt Kobaluk.
Full course yellow. Full course. Spinning
And another
around.
yellow is out. Holhouse has spun for the second time today. Jason Holhouse And this time, as you see, look at the damage on the rear of the race car. There's heavy damage on the front end. He's put the window net down. He's going to get out, which means that you're going to have to hook the wrecker up to that car, which means it's going to take us another couple of minutes. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Car looks used up. Fiberglass bumper pieces on these cars.
Oh, just got bumped big time.
Wow, hard impact, right rear corner of that race car. Unfortunately for him, his day will be over. Fiberglass bumper section knocked off the car.
Not sure that was all his fault.
No, he could have got some extra help there. It's hard to say, though. On a restart like that, Mike, you get 3 or 4 cars wide. Sometimes a guy moves over, spotter don't tell you the guy's inside, man, he just takes you out.
And how big was that surge by Brian Eichler with Matt Kovaluk hard on his bumper? But Eichler still leads here in the Mohegan Sun 200. And we welcome you back to Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. We're almost halfway through. Brian Eichler, Matt Kovaluk have been the class of the field so far. Mike Olson making a strong run. Another guy who is looking pretty good is Jesus Hernandez, who now has been posted in the 7th position. He is in 4th place in the points. He's having a good run this year. He's out of California. Yesterday, Natalie Taylor had a chance to talk with young Jesus Hernandez about racing in this series this year.
I don't know if it's possible to do interviews and not talk to you drivers at DEI. What is it that you're being able to see so much success and so much success together?
I think a lot of it's just the teamwork, just everywhere from at the shop, working together, being in the same shop, under the same roof, sharing notes, being at the track, and just working together as one to make each other stronger on our weaknesses. That obviously shows week in, week out, and that's really it.
You know, one way you're working together is you all came here to test. Things that seemed like they kept getting better for you every more seat time you have. What were you able to learn when you were testing that you're going to be able to bring to the race today?
Well, last year was my first road race, let alone first time at Lime Rock. So when we came back and tested, the fact that they had done some work to the racetrack itself, upgraded it, the grip itself improved probably a little bit, but the biggest thing was the consistency of the racetrack was nice and smooth. The transitions were a lot smoother. So coming up here and testing and setting the car up for that was a big plus, just to get ahead of that curve. So there was a lot that we gained there, and then again being able to bounce off ideas off of our teammates and where they're picking up time and what they're learning as well also helps.
Okay, let's talk a little about the car today. A lot of thrashing going on during practice. Did you guys get things figured out, or are there still some questions?
No, I think we're pretty happy where it's at right now. The balance is good in it. First practice we were like 8th, which we were happy with that. We were dealing with that. Made some big changes to it, kind of went back and forth on where we were at, and ended up on some older tires, but still had some decent times, and we felt comfortable with where the chassis was.
Okay. So you're complimenting the car, complimenting the resurfacing on the track, and a 4th place finish last year. Is it safe to say these road courses are still really starting to rub off on you?
I perform well at them. I mean, at the end of the day, we have some good finishes. We've had 2 top 5s in the last year, so hopefully we can repeat that. Crew's done a great job. Fuzz, my crew chief, he's been doing a lot of homework and just getting the car fast. Crew's worked awesome just at the shop and trying to get us a good piece. So we're happy and we're excited to be here.
Hernandez, crew chief he was talking about, Rich Bergdorf. And you can see he finished 12th last year. One of his best runs last year was right here at Lime Rock. He finished 4th. And during that interview, while we're under caution, he amazingly got moved up a couple of spots on the official scoring sheet. He is now 4th.
Always a good thing.
Yeah, to check out the other DEI drivers, Hernandez is 4th, Trevor Bain is 12th, and Jeffrey Earnhardt is 25th right now, as this track has gotten a lot darker over the last 10 or 15 minutes. Again, talking about Hernandez, he's one of the, I guess, 3 or 4 guys in this series who's from California. He's from Fresno, California. Got his start running late models at Irwindale. Had a couple of track championships at Madeira Speedway. But has come east for one reason, he said, and that's to get noticed. Well, he's gotten noticed by Dale Earnhardt Incorporated already, and as you can see, he's 4th in line there. And as those raindrops we see on a camera lens?
Yeah, it looks like it, Mike. We talked about it. We talked about that rain. We're just past halfway point. That's down the front stretch. You see a little bit of rain on the camera, but hopefully behind us we see some blue skies right in the center, right there to the left as you're seeing on the screen, but then to the right dark, cloudy sky, so it all depends on which way this front is moving. But right now, Mike, we are past the halfway point in this race, so if we had to call it because of rain, the finish would stay like it is here right now. But, you know, we talked about Jesus Hernandez. You heard him say about getting ahead of that learning curve. There's so many things you change when you come test. You try brakes, you try different brake pads, you try different steering box, you try different front-rear brake bias combinations. There is just so much stuff that you try when you come test to dial your car in for that particular racetrack. It means so much, because when you come here and race, the hour that we get in practice, there's no way that there's enough time to try all that stuff. So it made a big help talking to Jesus, talking to Jeffrey Earnhardt about the big help that when they came out here and tested for them days, that it really did for them, not only with the race car, but the confidence of how to get around these cars.
Well, and as you can see, and in every interview that we've had today, these drivers have applauded the paving job that was done to this track. It has made it maybe not as grippier, but a little more consistent. And we're hearing now from NASCAR that they're getting reports from the drivers in their cars that the racetrack may be getting a little too wet to run right now. So we'll see if they red flag this.
Hey, Mike, it matters who they're listening to on the radio. If they're listening to the guys up there in the top 5, that's probably what they're saying. Hey, let's quit. Everything's good. We'll be happy. But, you know, if the guys in the back, I'm sure them guys in the back there in the top, 7th back, they don't want to stop. They want to race. So,
well, Matt Kobaluk, who is leading the points and going for a championship and is in second place, he was one of the voices that NASCAR was listening to. And, of course, I'm sure Brian Eichler is saying, boy, it is too wet to race. Let's stop this thing. Well, you got guys back in the back a bit who are saying, come on, let's go green. Let's make our move now.
Man, listening to Matt Kobaluk just talking, he says the downhill on the backside is really full of speedy dry. If they start this thing,
that's just stupid.
He's just not real happy hearing Matt on the radio saying this is.
You got to be talking to somebody, Perry.
Well, he's telling his crew chief he needs to talk to somebody. So obviously NASCAR sees it a little bit different. They want to go their own way.
Well, and talking to Dan Partis, unfortunately, isn't going to get it done.
No, exactly. I'm the wrong guy to talk to. I'll hand the radio off to NASCAR, see what they have to say about it. Now, we're fixing to find out, as you might say in the South, you're fixing to find out what's going to happen here.
Well, one thing for us is I don't think that this restart is going to lack for any excitement, to be honest with you. A little bit of a wet, slippery racetrack. Already some speedy dry out there.
No, and I tell you, this is a tough situation, especially these guys up here in this top 3. They know that if they stop the race in one more lap after they throw that green, then it could stop here at the end.
Well, somebody got to somebody because the light just came back on the pace car.
Well, exactly. They must have been thought a little bit different of it. NASCAR obviously knows the right way to do things and the safe way to do things. So, this rain obviously on the back straightaway sometimes becomes a little bit more in the front stretch or certain parts of these road race courses. Being this track is 1.53 miles, it's a big spread out racetrack. So it could be raining realistically in one corner and not the next.
We heard Matt Kobaluk. We were listening into his radio a moment ago, and he told his crew chief, Perry Wade, Perry, you better be talking to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Perry did his job.
I think he did too. Obviously, he must have gotten to it. Let's see if we get a hold of Matt and see what he has to say about this whole thing. Matt Kobaluk, Dan Partis, Mike Hogwood in the booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you, fellas.
Hey, man, you got your windshield wipers on out there? What's going on? The track a little bit wet? You seeing some rain on the backside?
Yeah, we got some pretty steady rain on the backside of the track here. Coming into the front stretch a little bit, and it doesn't seem to be raining, just a few sprinkles down through turn 1 and through the S's and a little short shoot in the back there before the uphill. But all the whole back half of the track, we're getting some pretty good rain.
Hey, Roger. Hey, it looks like you got a little competition out there. Brian Eichler in the 15 car, Olsen there. Always has been tough competition here at this track for you in the past. What do you think? You think you got the car to beat?
Yeah, this Mohegan Sun Chevrolet is pretty stout right now. We're just, I don't think this thing's going to go halfway. It looks like clear blue skies on the other side of this cloud here. I got 40-something, maybe 40 laps to get by the 15 here. I'm pretty sure I can do that.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you. Thank you.
All right, that's the
Thanks,
word.
Guys.
The word there from Matt Kobaluk. While we have a moment, we'd like to invite you to join Kenny Rice, Boss Rutan, and a panel of experts from the world of mixed martial arts as they break down all the biggest bouts, top issues, and latest developments in MMA. Inside MMA comes to you every Friday night at 9:30 HDNet, your home for MMA. And here in your home for the Camping World Series, as you heard Matt Kobaluk say, a little rain on the backstretch.
Look at the Speedy Dry. You can see the Speedy Dry up there in that groove where really nobody runs, but once the cars get running and generate some air back there, that Speedy Dry will blow off that racetrack, but it's going to take a lap or two. Spotters are telling their drivers, hey, be careful, don't get wide down in that corner. Don't want to run through that Speedy Dry.
While we were talking to Matt Kobaluk, we mentioned that he's never won a championship in this series, and he is the points leader now. And after this race today, there are only 4 races left: Mansfield, New Hampshire, Dover, and the season finale at Stafford. So he's down to it. He does not want to slip, make a mistake, or anything like that today.
No, not at all. He's got to be looking at that big picture. Big picture for him is to win this championship, so it's consistency.
Well, there are the point standings, and Trevor Bain, the young DEI driver, 17 years old, only 57 points out. Austin Dillon had been the points leader much of this season, but that penalty that put him back in last place at Adirondack has dropped him to 3rd in the points. Jesus Hernandez and Mark Davis are in the top 5. And I think one of the great stories this year is the guy who's in 6th place, Ricky Carmichael. We haven't talked about him today, but did you see him in the X Games?
How about
my goodness.
Man, is that scary. I mean, talked to guys here and said, it is amazing, Ricky, what you do. I mean, to have the nerves to be able to get on them motocross bikes and jump them ramps and jumps like that, my hat's off to him.
Yeah. The greatest motocross racer of all time with 150 wins, trying his hand at stock car racing. And Natalie had a chance to catch up with Ricky Carmichael yesterday.
Well, RC, I don't know what to congratulate you for. First, 2nd gold medal in X Games, or the fact you finished 4th in your number 4 at Adirondack. Best finish yet. Take your pick.
Yeah, you know, probably the car finish, because I'm not supposed to do good in cars, but the X Games gold was fun, and now we're done with that and back here at a road course. Very happy to be at.
Let's talk a little about getting some seat time. You said you just were here at practice, so you haven't spent much time. What do you think of the course, and what are some of the strengths that you're looking forward to tackling?
Well, I think just it being, you know, a little more turns than just left turns. I think they're all right and only one left turn, so kind of even playing field for the guys who don't have much road course, you know, time. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that we got a great race car. Would love to qualify good. Our qualifying efforts have been poor, but our race efforts are great. We can run really good in the race. So looking forward to bettering our qualifying position than what we've been, and just let time evolve. I think there's no reason we shouldn't be in the top 5.
Another top 5 going forward, but you know, it's interesting when you talk to rookies in this series because everyone has their own different experience before coming here, yours being on a bike. Do you think that helps you on road courses?
Oh, absolutely. You know, another thing too is every time I would race a Supercross, it was a new track every weekend, so it's easy for me to learn. Way easier than this stuff, you know. Actually, this is easier for me to learn than the motorcycle was because it's just a couple of turns. You know, I think we got 7 turns here maybe, and simple this. So yeah, definitely has been a great attribute and has helped me for sure.
It may be easy for me to say, but it seems like you're getting pretty comfortable with those top 5 finishes. What, other than the qualifying, is it going to take for you to break through and get that first W?
Well, that would be amazing. It's going to take a lot. A lot of guys are improving, and we need to do the same thing. I think we, as a team, are improving every week. We just need a little bit more. You know, I think, like I said, there's no reason we shouldn't be in the top 5, but we need a little bit more to get us that win, and it's going to take more time and hard work.
Last question. Kenny Schrader's the one who, team owner, but also is the first one who won at the Camping World West Series. Has given you any advice?
Oh, yeah. He's always got a bunch of great advice. I'm glad he came. He don't come to very many races, so I'm just pumped he came, and I'm going to soak up any information he can give me.
So any tidbits you're going to want to share?
You know what? No, I don't want to help anybody. Come on.
There's the competitive spirit we're used to, right?
That's right. I'm not gonna give away any secrets that I might have. That's for sure. I want to keep them for myself.
All right, I can understand that. He has run well lately. He finished 4th in Nashville, 6th, last race in Adirondack, and he's running 8th here right now there in that number 4 car. And Ken Schrader, as we said, is here spotting for him today. And I think he has a real future. A lot of people think he has a real future in this sport. And the car running right ahead of him, Alex Kennedy, the youngest driver in the race, 16 years old, is running 7th, and that's in the Jeff Spraker car. Yep. So that's the car right in front of Ricky Carmichael. There it is.
Yep, Jeff Spraker, been around a long time, raced in the Busch Series, and decided to start fielding some cars in this series some time ago. And man, he's done well, and he's got a nice young man like Alex Kennedy, 16 years old, to come to a track, a Camping World race, run a track like Lime Rock, Connecticut. Man, what a thrill.
Out of Aztec, New Mexico, and making his name early in stock car racing, and under the tutelage, as we said, of Jeff Spraker, who had Michel Theriault as a driver in that 37 car a year ago, and has made a point now to develop some drivers in the sport of stock car racing. And Alex Kennedy, the latest developmental driver for him. Still under caution. No word yet from NASCAR as to whether this track is raceable. We'll try to see if we can get a word from them. Before we do, though, let's take a break here, and we'll be back and see if we can't get some green flag racing in here at Lime Rock Park in the Mohegan Sun 200. If you are just joining us, we have been under a rain delay, a red flag here in the Mohegan Sun 200, but as you can see, the sun has been out for a while and this track is almost dry. So before we get going again, let's catch up on where we are. The drivers are back in the cars, the engines are refired. We started with Matt Kobaluk on the pole because of rain yesterday in qualifying. He's the points leader. Trevor Bain, the youngster in car 1, also ran very well early, and we got a lot of green flag laps in before we got a caution when Justin Lofton blew a motor.
Yeah, Justin unfortunately blew a motor there, just under slowing down, so unfortunately dumped a lot of oil on the racetrack, had to get it cleaned up. But then Steve Park jumps out to the lead. Good run for Steve Park here today at Lime Rock.
Yeah, he's having a really good run, and then Fuel stops, kind of sorted the field out. Trevor Bain got stuck back in the pack just a little bit, and he hasn't been a factor since that spin. Chase Mattioli, that's the hardest hit of the day.
Oh, hard impact for Chase Mattioli. 2 cars in one weekend. Tough weekend for Chase. See him there shaking his head, but luckily he's okay.
In Matt Kobaluk, Brian Eichler go to the front. Eichler looking good. Scott Booley got up there on a restart and quickly got turned around.
Yep, got into speed bumps. I think it was a victim of his own circumstance there, unfortunately.
And on a restart, Jason Holhouse out of Toronto, Canada, slams into the wall. And it brings us to lap 48, where Brian Eichler leads. Matt Kobaluk is second. Then it's Mike Olson, Jesus Hernandez, and Peyton Sellers, your top 5 here at Lime Rock. And the good news is not only are the engines fired, but as you can see, the cars are back out on the racetrack. And I think, Dan, they'll probably take a couple of pace laps. There's Max Dumouriez had a flat tire.
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, it'd be a good time to have a flat tire, Mike. You know, under caution here, at least you don't lose no ground. He'll be able to get back to the tail end of the lead lap there and start back from there. So if you're going to have a problem or an issue, now's the time for it to happen.
Yeah, remember Natalie tried to talk to him, and he was none too happy about things.
Beating a fender out on that car. Obviously, he got into an altercation with another car, pushed the fender in, and cut the tire.
Well, now is the time to do it. Is they'll have some 32 laps remaining when we go back. Hopefully green somewhere around lap 50. Fuel was going to be an issue in this race, and we've talked about it, Dan. Somehow I don't think it's going to be. That's Dustin Delaney there. Yeah. Max Dumouriez was that white car you saw a moment ago behind him, but there's Dustin Delaney, who had some damage on his car, and Delaney is back out. He'll, of course, go back to the back of the pack.
See the cars coming around, and this track has really dried down in a hurry, Mike. We talked about it. The sun has really made a big difference in drying this.
And you see the cars spreading out all over the racetrack. That's done for a couple of reasons. Weaving around it, they want to check every part of this track to make sure it's dry.
Yeah, they do, and get some heat in them tires, move them back and forth, get all the dirt, the speedy dry that them tires picked up coming down pit road, off them tires, scrub them tires in, get a little heat in them tires, and also a little bit of heat in that racetrack.
What do you think, Dan? You think Brian Eichler has anything for Matt Kobaluk as we see again another car down on pit road?
52 car.
That's Jamie Hayes.
Fortunate. Like obviously a tire going down on that car too, Mike. Again, that's the time to do it. Scott Booley, 26 car, also on pit road. get back underway.
Well, back to my point, do you think anybody has anything for Matt Kovaluk as we get down to the final third of this race after a long halftime?
Yes, it was. And I tell you, he's going to be hard to beat. You know, Brian Eichler is probably the only one, and Mike Olson that really got any kind of car that's close to at this point in the race. But it still seems like Matt Kovaluk is some 0.2 of a second quicker than everybody else in the field.
Well, if you're just joining us, we'll tell you a little bit more about this Lime Rock Park course, 1.53 miles around, and there you see that's really the speed part of it. When they go under that bridge, they come down the hill, and then they take a hard right-hand turn down to the main straightaway, which is right in front of us. You see those cars coming down to take that hard right turn. There it is. And the main straightaway, which is where the pit lane is, this is where you have the most speed on the racetrack.
Oh, exactly. It's so important to get off at turn 7. That's turn 7 on this racetrack. So important to get off there really good so you can carry that straightaway speed all the way down that front straightaway, because you're shifting into 4th gear just off that corner, Mike, and you're carrying it all the way down the front.
And you see that pace car with the light turned off. That means the next time around we're going green flag racing, and they head down to what's called the Big Bend, which is the first right-hander. That turns into a left-hander, which are called the S's. Then it's on the no-name straight up a hill. Really unique. There's the S's that they call them.
Yep, then you got a left-hander. This is the only left-hand turn, Mike, on the racetrack.
Here it is right here. And you heard Matt Kovaluk tell us this is where you really feel like if you're a driver, you're going extremely slow, but it's a critical part of that race course.
Oh, it is. You're in 2nd gear. You're running 2nd gear through that part of the racetrack. Then as you head up towards the uphill, you're shifting up into 3rd gear once you get up through that next straightaway.
And once you come up this hill, then you turn onto what's called the backstretch. It's not really the back straight, because as you can see, it's not that straight. But it's the back stretch, and then back around the West Bend and back down that hill again. As there's the West Bend there, that hard right-hander. And they head into that shade, and then when you go into that shade, the next spot is coming back down that hill once more. And that's around the track. And the next time they take the right here, they'll be headed towards a green flag and a restart of the Mohegan Sun 200. I can only say it's about time.
It is. Beautiful facility here, tucked away in these mountains in Connecticut. Except for when it comes to raining.
Right. Well, they get around this right turn. We'll see the pace car pull off onto pit road. The cars are single file on this restart.
See flagman Sean Houlihan with NASCAR. He's ready to give the green.
Well, it's good to see the sun back, the racetrack dry, and the Mohegan Sun 200 underway.
Get outside. That's what he was going to do. I knew it. Easy in. On your bumper. Target bumper still. Little room behind him.
There they go around Big Bend. Up and ready to take that left-hander right here. Kovaluk right on Eichler's bumper. Several cars getting out of line to try to gain some position here.
What these drivers got to do, Mike, is get some heat back in these tires, get some heat back in the racetrack. Don't get too overly aggressive. That's what's important here right now. Get some heat, get back in that rhythm. That's so important rhythm that we talked about. 30 laps to go.
Here's a place you can pass. You are flat on the gas right here, coming down that hill. Eichler turns around.
Wow, a little too hard.
All right, keep digging, Brian. Back it out. Back it out. Brian, spun up here under the bridge. Everything's okay.
Wow.
Clear, Brian. Back it out. Back it out.
Full course caution.
Wow.
Caution is out all around.
Look at that, Mike. He just overdrove that corner. Like I talked about, you got to get some heat back in them tires, and unfortunately did not have the rear grip that it took to get through that corner.
You know, and I'm sure Brian Eichler would do this if he had it do over again. At some point, you just got to let Matt Kovaluk go on.
Well, you
do.
know
What I mean?
You do. I mean, if
he was trying to hold him off, and he overdrove the car trying to do it.
Exactly right. That's what he done. But, you know, there's still 30 laps left. You see Eichler down in the corner. Big slingshot on the outside. Really had such a good run going through that corner. But, man, just over-exceeded the speed through that corner and just lost traction on the rear of that race car. Fortunate for him, Mike, no other cars hit him. He's down in the grass. He can get back underway and still get a top 5 or 10 out of this race here today.
Well, that spin will move Mike Olson into second place, Jesus Hernandez third, Mark Davis fourth, and Peyton Sellers fifth.
Wow, tough break.
One to go at the line. One to go at the line.
Matt Kovaluk spot.
Well, as you heard, it's going to be a quick caution. I think NASCAR's had about all the caution they can stand of. I mean, obviously not going to do anything dangerous, but if you can go in a lap and go back green, we're going to do it.
Yep, they're going to do it. And this racetrack's ready. I mean, it appears to be dry. There you see Brian Eichler towards the back of the field. It'll be interesting to see. All 4 tires are up on that race car right now. He will not be able to take any tires on that race car unless the tire is actually down. The only way you can change a tire is you actually have to have a puncture in the tire, or it actually has to have a wear spot all the way through it. So we'll see what Brian Eichler, as he comes down pit road right now, what exactly he's going to do to the race car.
Eichler, who was the leader, and you see his car making its way down on pit road.
3, 2, 1, stop.
Looks like they're going to take a little fuel, Mike. Not sure if...
Go. Easy now.
Well, they just poured something right under the tires. I guess that was to help him get a little bit of grip.
Yeah, it helps the race car. Sometimes, you spin the tires on pit road, and sometimes they actually grip really good, and you could break a rear end or spin a clutch out of one of these. So that possibly what he was throwing that water underneath that tire for. I've never really seen that done before.
I have not either.
Except at the drag strip. The Gator Nationals.
The
Gator Nationals.
There's a first for everything, but you know what I think that was is that there may have been, they pitted really early, Eichler did. He was the first of the leaders to pit. So that's going to ensure now that he's got enough fuel to go the rest of the way.
Well, he had nothing to lose there. It was a good opportunity for him to take some fuel. He had nothing to lose. He was all the way in the back of the field. So, it was a good call by his crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., to come in and take fuel at this point.
Well, as you can tell under caution, it does take a little while to get around this racetrack. So as they come down the hill, they'll come down the hill and
one to go this time by. Appears to be the flag.
I think we're going green right here.
Yeah, we are.
So Kovaluk, now the leader, will take the green. He started out front today. Mike Olson behind him. And a great restart by Kovaluk. Boy, Jesus Hernandez really putting some pressure on Mike Olson.
5, driving away, no pressure.
Well, you just heard Matt Kovaluk's spotter with the understatement of the restart.
I'd say.
No pressure, you're driving away.
Nope, don't use the car up any more than you have to.
There's some guys like Hernandez and Sellers who love to have a chance to get up right behind Matt Kovaluk and see what they could do with him as we come down to the latter stages of this race.
Listening to a couple of spotters, Mike saying, guys, get some heat in them tires, give it a few laps. Still got a good 30 laps or so left, so they're not going to drive the race car. So obviously some of them taking notice to what happened to Brian Eichler here a few laps ago.
Look at Peyton Sellers. You heard him tell Natalie Taylor during our rain delay break that he had a strong race car. Now, that race car finished second in this race last year. Sean Case was the driver then. Car was good enough to finish second. I got a chance to talk to Andy Santerra a moment ago. We were taking that break, and Andy said, boy, I think we've got a good car. I think we might be able to get something for Kovaluk.
Well, that's a good sign. And if Andy's telling you that, he's got to know, because Andy's been around a long time, and he knows what it takes to have a winning car here at Lime Rock.
Mark Davis also looking very, very strong. You'll see cars pass each other, and several times Peyton Sellers said this happened to him. He'd pass 2 cars, and the caution would come out before they got around to the start-finish line, and he'd have to go back to where he was.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. There's not scoring loops all the way around this 1.53-mile race course, so if the caution comes out, they will revert back to the last lap. They tried to freeze the field, but there's no way that they could possibly take a toll of where every driver is all the way around this course, because there's only one scoring loop at this facility. So they utilize the one scoring loop and go back to the last lap.
Trevor Bain has made his way back up into the top 10 now. Another car on the move is Alex Curran in that 31, two guys who have been at the front of the field at one time or another today.
Steve Park just dropping out of the top 10, currently running 11th. Led this race here for a little while. See the hoods of these cars actually vibrating as they go down the straightaway. That's the air pushing down on the hood of the race car, making downforce on the front end of these cars. You can see them while like you see the hoods shake on these cars when they get on these high-speed straightaways.
See in the middle of your screen there, Alex Kennedy in that 37. Remember, he's only 16 years old, and he's got a top 10 run going today.
Outstanding job. I've been watching him a little bit, real smooth around this racetrack, giving and taking a little bit when he needs to. That's a smart race car driver.
Jeff Spraker, the owner of that car, really knows how to put a good car together for these young developmental drivers.
All these drivers doing a good job of getting some heat back in these tires, going single file, feeling out this green racetrack after that big rain.
Yeah, it really does change the track. You get a rain that was fairly heavy for a while, like we had. There's Ricky Carmichael battling with the young Kennedy in 37. Jesus Hernandez starting to drop back a little bit.
Carmichael falling back to places to that lap. Jesus had a good run on Ricky that lap.
But nobody close to that man, Matt Kobaluk, right now. Matt Kobaluk going for his third win in a row in this series. That would really be something. One at Nashville, one at Adirondack. He also won the other road course race this season at Watkins Glen.
Talked about it, Mike. Good road racer. And again, when you come to a track like this, it does require special finesse and talent.
All right, buddy, you're plus 10. Olson's also plus 10. He's comfortable riding second. I just talked to his back.
How about that, Mike? Guys sound pretty calm.
Well,
drivers sound calm.
I'll tell you what was going on there is that Kobaluk is 10 laps ahead of the second place Mike Olson. Olson,
not 10 laps.
10 seconds. I mean 10 car lengths. Olson is 10 car lengths ahead of third place Mark Davis.
Right.
The spotter came on and said, you don't have to worry about Olson. He's not coming after you.
Exactly.
You're basically 20 car lengths ahead of your next competitor.
You're right, and that's a good feeling for a driver, especially when you're leading. You know you can take care of your equipment a little bit more, knowing that guy behind you not real excited about pushing you real hard at this point in the race.
Well, Olson's not racing for points.
Nope.
And is out here, as he said, having a great time. And he can take a second place finish right now and go home.
I think so. Doing a good job out here today. And again, he's only racing 3 races this year. Owns Max Numeray's cars. Car owner on that car and kind of helping wrench in on that piece.
Look at Kennedy trying to get a little racy there with Peyton Sellers. That would be the battle for 4th spot.
That bunch of cars right here have been running together for the last 5 laps or so. Nobody really making any headway one way or the other. So some good racing going on back there from 4th place on back.
Well, as you can see, we've got 20 laps remaining. And right now, this is Matt Kobaluk's race.
Kobaluk just hit.
All right, bud, plus 5. 20 to go, 2-0.
That plus 5 would be car lengths. The word being relayed to Matt Kobaluk. Kind of give him an idea how hard he has to push it.
Well, exactly. I think he's playing a little bit right now, kind of taking care of his equipment, knowing that he's a little bit faster than the rest of these guys. He's probably taking care of the tires a little bit. He talked about it earlier on the radio. I heard him say, just conserving tires, but it appears Mike Olson may be creeping up on him a little bit. Not sure if Matt Kobaluk is saying back a little bit safe. You just have to kind of keep an eye on, watch out.
You know, and you see that third car in line, that is Mark Davis. This is turning out to be, there it is, a good race for Mark Davis, who has not had the greatest of seasons, even he would admit. He's only 18 years old out of Mitchellville, Maryland, but he is driving for Joe Gibbs, the developmental driver, and basically the same equipment that Joey Lozano had in this series a year ago.
Outstanding run for him today, and this youngster started in quarter midgets, racing with Joey Logano. So him and Joey Logano jumped around a long time. They both got an opportunity with Joe Gibbs Racing. Mark Davis, a good race car driver, learning a lot in this series, and he's come a long way in the last year.
His best finish of the year has been second, and that was the first race of the season at Greenville Pickens Speedway. 10th last race at Adirondack. He has not won in his 2 years in this series.
He's been close, just not at the right place in the right time, unfortunate. But today, he has really stepped it up. I tell you, on the road race, to come to a track like this, and you look at the last lap there, Mike, he actually wasn't the fastest of Kovaluk or Olsen. So he had the fastest lap, that last lap on the racetrack. And they have something.
Another guy who's moving up in that group is Trevor Bain. Remember, he fell back in the middle of the pack. He spun, went out, and boy, Peyton Sellers now has a battle on his hands. Look at Alex Kennedy getting by Peyton Sellers. If he can hold that, he'll be fourth. Austin Dillon, we're getting word, has gone off the racetrack there in car number 3. Back on it now. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Of course, caution at this point. See Austin drive down in the corner outside Scott Bully. Wow, just got up either in the loose stuff or possibly a tire down. Just no grip on the race car and got into the guardrail on the driver's side. He did get back underway, so he is off again. Possibly, looks like
there's something on that.
Heavy damage on the left side of that car, so I'm not sure if he did that the second time he hit or the first time, but he did take a hard impact on the left rear corner. Here's another look at that, Mike. Drive down in. It looks like he blew a motor or something locked up on the left front of that race car. Tire is already down. Looked to me like he may have blew a tire and just lost control of it again, but that was actually the second altercation that we're looking at here. So he may have blew a tire after the first one and then knocked the fender off of it.
Well, he's coming down to the attention of his crew, Team Dillon Racing. Austin Dillon, who came into this race third in the point standings after a disheartening finish at Adirondack, where he was credited with last place because of a penalty. Is that left front was shredded when he went into the grass the second time. They're having to lift the car up just to get the jack underneath that car.
Grandson of Richard Childress. Richard Childress Racing. Raced some dirt, done a little bit of everything as far as racing in his career. Got a bright future ahead of him.
Today's race is being brought to you by Camping World, the official RV and outdoor retailer of NASCAR. And in this Camping World East Series race, Matt Kovaluk has been the class of the field today. Tough day, as you saw, for Austin Dillon, the youngster. A lot of these young guys really just learning. Austin Dillon, 18 years old. Had to have a new crew chief with him today.
Fortunate, just got off course. We talked about that being one of the race keys here today, is to keep your race car on course, even though if you run through a corner a little bit slower than you really need to be. It's very, very important to keep on course, Mike, because once you get off course, and unfortunately things like that happen, you get out in that dirt and you're in the guardrail.
Well, Austin Dillon has some new rubber on the left side. He's back out running around, but he's got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Yep, old Smoky Bandit. It's smoking a little bit too. Unfortunately, that fender is probably down on the tire there a little bit, so he may have to come back around and get that fender pulled off that tire if it's laying on that tire, because you don't want to cut another tire and he'll be in the fence again.
Well, under caution here as we approach the final laps of this race. 82 will make it up. We're on lap 66 right now. Alex Kennedy has been one of the real stories. The 37 car, we've told you about this 16-year-old who has so much talent according to so many people in racing, and he is showing it here today. Trevor Baines made his way back up into the top 10.
See Austin Dillon back on pit road. We talked about him having to come back down pit road again to get that tire off that fender off that left front tire. Don't want to cut another tire. Tough break for him, but now's the time to do it, obviously, because if you come down under green, he would lose a tremendous amount of time. So if he's going to make any changes at race car, now's the time to do it.
Well, taking some time. I think they're going to cut the motor there. It's not been a good day. Not been a good couple of races for young Austin Dillon, who was credited with the win at Greenville Pickens, had a second place at South Boston, third place at Nashville. Those have been his top races of the season.
He's pulling the fender off, and he's back underway to get that fender off there.
Meanwhile, the laps continue to tick off. 82 will make up this race. We're working lap 66 right now. Boy, it turned out to be a gorgeous afternoon after that rain, didn't it?
Well, it did, and the racetrack actually got a little faster. I mean, we picked up about a half a second there after this rain because it cooled the racing surface down, Mike, and obviously the temperature cooled down too, which makes the motors run a little bit better. Racetrack gets a little bit more grip when it cools down, so we actually did speed the pace here up a little bit by having that little shower. And, obviously, it picks its pace up for everybody.
Well, so far it's been tough on Austin Dillon, who also had to come here with a new crew chief today, and he is with Natalie.
Yeah, guys, I'm with the crew chief there, Austin Dillon. Austin, what happened out there? Because we weren't able to see down here in the pits.
Well, it got busy up, right around turn 6 and 7, and just got off the track a little bit, and we got a little bit of damage, but the guys got it fixed back up, and we're down just one lap, so we're definitely still in the game. We changed the tire and got all the rubs. We feel like we're pretty fixed up there, as good as we can get it anyway, and we'll try to get back on the lead lap and make something out of this.
And I was going to ask specifically, experience is key on a road course, and I know that Austin took the Skip Barber School to help him out. Have you seen him be able to take to this course better than a rookie typically would?
Yeah, I mean, he's done really good. We had probably a pretty bad strategy in this race, how it's all worked out, but, you have that sometimes. He's done really good. He was starting to get faster, and he had some pretty competitive lap times, so he's doing good. It's just circumstances, and, we'll see. It's not over yet. A lot of things can happen still.
You're exactly right. Hopefully they got that rubbing taken care of and you won't have any more issues the rest of the race.
All right, Natalie, thanks a lot. And, Austin Dillon, thing I like about him, I like all these young drivers. They're able to keep their cool, their calm, the composure. Nobody gets really too excited, and Austin Dillon has been very good about that this season.
We think sometimes, most of the time, but there's a lot of times you don't see.
As far as we can see.
Yeah, when he gets out of the car and runs in the trailer, you don't want to talk to him then, and we do see that from time to time. But I know what you're saying, Mike. For the most part, a lot of these young guys handle themselves very well.
Hey, we're getting ready to go back green flag racing here. So Kobaluk and Olson, we'll see how hard Mike Olson will race him down into that first corner and what they call the Big Bend.
Green. Go. Plus 4.
What a start.
Plus 4 to the 18. Plus 3 to the 18.
And look at Mark Davis, Mike. He has charged back from third position up to second. Man, he had a good run there going into 1, but I think he may have overdrove it a little bit and lost some ground.
Well, a heck of a battle for second place there. Peyton Sellers also making a move to the front. Mark Davis, the youngster, trying for his first win in this series at 18 years old. But he's got a long way to go to catch the 38-year-old Matt Kobaluk.
And what we don't know is we talked about him before the caution. He was a little bit faster than Matt Kobaluk before the caution flag. Not sure if Matt Kobaluk was sandbagging a little bit or not, but we're going to find out.
Well, with 14 to go, it's almost show what you got time.
Yep, it's getting there for sure. Definitely within 5 laps to go, you want to go. So you just got to stay out front. 14 to go, you need to get up there in that top 3 and put in position to win. So if these guys back here in this top 5, if they've got anything for Matt Kobaluk, now's the time to move forward.
Peyton Sellers has made his way into third place. Mark Davis second. Olson has slid down to fourth. And young Alex Kennedy is now running in the top 5. That's amazing.
Good job by him. Very controllable driver.
Trevor Bain, as we said, made his way back to the top 10. Alex Curran has climbed back into the top 10 as well. Right now, nobody has a thing for Matt Kobaluk. Boy, that's a good feeling if you're a driver, isn't it?
Well, it does, but Matt has put so much effort at this racetrack. He comes here and tests. He knows the racetrack. He spent many, many hours coming dialing this place in, and that hard effort is paying off here today.
Well, as you see on the side of that race car, the Mohegan sun, is his sponsor. They are also the sponsor of this race. When your car sponsor sponsored a race, there's some pressure there.
Well, there is. You like to win, and I mean, there's no better feeling than to win a race that your sponsors do sponsor, and I'm sure that Mohegan Sun's brought a lot of people here also.
If he wins, I think they'll take a lot of people to the Mohegan Sun. Laps continue to wind down. Most everybody in single file right now in the top 10. Nobody trying to jump out of line and make a move. We've said it's really hard to pass here. This is brand new pavement. Not a lot of passing spots on this racetrack. You kind of have to make it yourself.
You make it happen right here off of turn 7 down this long straightaway. You got to get a good run off that turn 7 and then down that front stretch. If you get 50 or 100 RPM on a guy, he carries all the way down that front stretch. So it's so important to get off turn 7 well.
There's Trevor Bain in the 1 car trying to get his teammate Jesus Hernandez, the 11.
Ricky Carmichael right there on his bumper also.
That race is for 6th place.
That's been a good race. These 3 or 4 cars have been going back and forth here in the last 15 laps. They've really been going back and forth and duking. Good race back there.
Hey, and don't look now, but Brian Eichler, after that spin and going to the back, has made his way back up to 10th place.
Yep, look at Jeffrey Earnhardt. He's worked back up 11th place also. So these guys are late movers. Oh, a little trouble there, Mike. Not sure what car's Ricky
That is Ricky Carmichael has spun.
31 car.
That is Alex Curran. And there's Brian Chu in the 99. Let's see if we're going to get a full course caution. Not yet.
Green flag appears to still be out. Brian Chu not able to get that car fired.
Now here it comes. Caution is out. Full course caution.
Wow. Things were going good there. Unfortunate a few cars got together. Here's another look on the downhill. See Ricky Carmichael the outside there and gets a little bit loose. Not sure if he just lost the tail end of that car by himself. Wow, tough break. Looked like Ricky got a little loose. Kern may have gotten in the back of him. Nowhere to go.
We're now in the final 10 laps. You got to show it now. 10 laps. Matt Kobaluk, Mark Davis, Peyton Sellers, the top 3. I really think this is what Peyton Sellers wanted. As there is Eichler.
Hood damage to his car, Mike. Look at that left front damage. That was not there earlier. He did have some hood damage, but that's something new there on the left front. Tough break for him because, like you said, he had just moved up there in the top 10.
He had made his way from the back to 10th, and now he's going to have under 10 laps to try to do something again. And look at the sheet metal there. They just kind of pulled it up.
Yep, tough break. Crew obviously not happy. Sawzall out. Going to cut that left front fender right off that car. Best thing to do so it doesn't drag down on the tire. NASCAR official overlooks that operation technology there.
Boy, what a tough break for Brian Eichler, who led a good portion of this race, was leading when we were stopped because of rain. Then racing Matt Kobaluk basically went too hard into a corner and turned his car around. And great job to make it up and now stop.
See Brian Chu looking around his car. Possibly a motor problem, Mike, on that car. It was a whole separate accident there. Was not involved in that accident there at all. It was a total separate part of the racetrack, so not sure what type of problem he's encountering. Looks like he's got a couple tools in his hand.
He does. Well, there you see they've cut that left front off of Eichler's car. Is definitely no fender rub there. And Brian Chu not being able to refire his car is the main reason for this full course caution right now. Let's see the tail end of what happened here.
It's like Chu down in the grass. It looks like he lost a motor. That's Brian Chu right there, kind of asking 8 car, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, what the heck?
Larry Maloney also went off course on that spin by Chu.
See some right front fender damage to Chu's car, so obviously Jeffrey Earnhardt got together. Unfortunate.
Well, we're not going to be able to go green till they get this car pulled off. Meanwhile, Ken Schrader, who has a couple of cars in the race today, is with Natalie.
Hey guys, and I know it's hard to see on a road course, but it seemed like Ricky almost got loose, got hit from behind. Is that what you could tell, and is he experiencing any problems out there?
He seems pretty unhappy right now with somebody, so I don't know what happened, but he got turned around. You know, I don't know what he had to do with it, but it doesn't make any difference. He's back in 15th now instead of 8th.
You know, getting to spend time with both of your drivers as the owner of 2 different teams, Jamie Hayes and Ricky Carmichael, different backgrounds, but seem like different personalities. Do you have to manage them different and coach them different, so to speak?
Well, you know, they're both in their own team. They're just, I mean, they're all under the Shred Racing umbrella, but they only have their own crew chiefs and stuff. And Jamie's the second year, so he knows a little bit more what to expect. Ricky's pretty simple. You just plug him in there and tell him to drive it, and he gives tremendous feedback, but he just, you know, he's shorter on laps, but he's doing an excellent job for us, and Jamie's just having a rough year.
You know, I know it might be hard for you to answer, and I hope you're not modest on this, but what are you able to share after your experiences? What some little tidbits are you able to tell these 2 guys, especially coming to a road course?
Just be smart enough that Ricky ought to just keep riding his motorcycle, and Jamie ought to take up golf and forget about this car racing.
Well, Ricky wouldn't tell us earlier what pointers that Ken was sharing with him, so who knows, maybe that's what it was.
All right, yeah.
Gotta like that.
That was good, yeah.
Schrader being honest. That's cool.
He was. Well, there's the Ricky Carmichael. Wherever this series goes, Ricky Carmichael has the most fans, the most people wanting the autographs, and one of the reasons why are those 150 AMA motocross wins.
You can't say enough about Ricky Carmichael. Anybody that's watched TV and watched a little bit of motocross racing knows Ricky Carmichael. He was the man. Him and Bubba Stewart, all them guys run up front there for years and years, and he still can do it today if he decided to go back to riding motorcycles. But he chose to go a different direction, try a different sport. My hat's off to Ricky Carmichael for walking away and being on top of the world in the motocross world and coming over here in the stock car world and trying this out, because it is a tough chore, and as you can see, he's learning. And Schrader was honest with you. You know, he tells it how it is, and you got to admire Ken Schrader for coming here today. You know, with his busy schedule, he's always on the road, been racing all his life, and as much as he can, he says, man, if I'm off a weekend, I want to go with my teams, I want to travel, I want to help these young guys as much as I can. And that's very, very thoughtful of Ken Schrader to be able to do that with his young drivers.
It is, and there's a lot they can learn. By the way, Ken Schrader, as we said earlier, the first winner in this series here at Lime Rock. He has raced in both the East and the West Series from time to time, and he has the best win-to-race ratio of anybody in this series, because when he races, he is normally either winning the race or somewhere in the top 5.
Well, he does, and as you know, Schrader races everything. He races from dirt cars to modifieds to late models to Grand National, to Camping World cars, to Cup cars, to Busch cars. He does it all. So Ken Schrader's raced everything from a wheelbarrow to a Nextel Cup car.
Well, Brian Chu's car has finally been pulled off of this racetrack.
Yep, looks pretty used up there on the right front. We talked about it. Unfortunate. Possibly an altercation with Jeffrey. There's only 2 guys that really knows what happened out there, and that's usually the 2 guys involved in the wreck. Everybody else can assume.
I thought I saw the light go out on the pace car, so hopefully we're going to go green this time around. We're down to the final laps here. 6 laps to go to decide who will win the Mohegan Sun 200.
Ricky Carmichael falling back to 16th position, running up there 6th, 7th position at the time. He may be able to gain some of that ground back.
You were talking about Jeffrey Earnhardt. He has struggled at times today, been in the back, but here we get the late stage of the race, and he's running 8th, just behind his teammate Trevor Bayne. Matter of fact, the DEI guys, Hernandez, Bayne, and Earnhardt are all running 6th, 7th, 8th.
How about that?
That's going to be interesting.
Yes, it is. The guys got to take care of each other, because if not, they're going to be sitting next to each other all week in the shop while one guy's working on his car. So hopefully they don't get in each other.
Alex Curran, the road racing specialist, is running 9th. There's Curran in the 31 right behind Earnhardt.
Jeffrey Earnhardt, son of Kerry Earnhardt. Hopefully Kerry's at home watching the race. Said his dad had some stuff going on, couldn't make it this weekend, but Kerry tries to make it as many of these races as he can. Manages over at DEI.
Well, you see the green in hand. We are ready to go back. Green flag racing here as we wait for the final 6 laps. Green is out.
+1. Looking low. Protect the ball. +2.
Matt Kovaluk with another good jump.
Nice and easy. Hit your marks and drive right away.
Mark Davis second, Peyton Sellers third, then it's Olson, Hernandez.
This is where the guys get a little antsy, Mike. 5 laps to go. This is where drivers will take that extra risk, that extra 3 or 4 foot down in the corner, lock the brakes up a little bit harder. This is where stuff happens. We get this 5-lap race.
Matt Kovaluk has led the most laps today. And he wants to lead the most important one, the last one. Interesting to see what kind of move Mark Davis has. Second place driver who's never won in this series.
It's like Kovaluk out brakes Mark Davis a little bit, may have a little better brake package. Oh, the one car, Trevor Bayne, off the track again.
Second time today, and this one comes with a few laps to go. A tough break for the rookie Trevor Bayne, the 17-year-old out of Knoxville, Tennessee, who's had such a great season. He's second in the points. So this stands to really hurt him in the point standings a bit. And there's
a little bit of fiberglass on the back bumper, but that won't make any difference.
Finished second in the last race at Adirondack. Won't finish there near today. Started second today and ran with Kovaluk for the early part of the race.
Kovaluk appears to have about 3/10 of a second that last lap on Mark Davis, so unless Mark's sandbagging a little bit, clearly appears that Matt Kovaluk has the fastest car on the racetrack.
But remember a year ago, and there's another car, that's Jody Lavender, who has spun and is off course. Don't see a caution yet as Lavender's able to refire and get going again. So we probably will not see a caution.
Another look at that, just gets loose coming off corner exit there. Wow.
Dale Quarterly did a great job of avoiding it.
Dale's done well today. He started in the back and he was up in the top 20 through the course of this race here today. So Dale Quarterly having a good run, but unfortunately he's kind of fell back a little bit these last few laps.
3 remain.
The car off the track. Good for third. 12-10.
Kovaluk seems awfully confident right now.
Spotter calming him down. You hear how calm the spotter is, Mike. Talking to him, saying, he told him, be careful of that dirt. He just ran through it on the racetrack when a car.
Coming to the right. Coming to the right.
Matt Kovaluk will take the white flag this next time down on the main straightaway and try to win here for the second year in a row. There's another car that is off course. That is Jeffrey Earnhardt. You're right, the 8th car.
Wow.
And he's got to go through that water to try to get back on it.
A break for Jeffrey Earnhardt, having such a good run here today. It's like damage to the front of that race car. Not sure if he got some help.
Earnhardt just powered his way through.
Wow.
Tough. Matt Kovaluk takes the white flag. Mark Davis running second, Peyton Sellers third. Jesus Hernandez has made his way to 4th. Alex Curran, what a job he's done. He's climbed up to 6th here with a lap to go. Final time around for Matt Kovaluk.
Kovaluk hitting his marks. That car appears to be glued to this racetrack. Everything just right. Mark Davis doing an awesome job of trying to keep pace with just a 1/10 or 2 of a second slower.
You remember a year ago, Matt Kovaluk was having no luck at all. Yeah, he won here, but it just was not his season. This year, a different story altogether. Trying for his 4th win of the year.
12 cars ahead, Matt. No pressure. You're going to take the checkered flag and win 3 in a row right here. Come on, Awesome job, guys. Awesome. Way to go, Maddie.
Austin Dillon back off the racetrack again.
On the final lap, you saw Dillon spin as Matt Kovaluk, you heard his spotter congratulating him, has now won 3 races in a row in this series.
Hell of a day, hell of a weekend.
Well, the crew excited.
Great job, man. Great job.
The crew, they are happy. 3 in a row, Mike. Man, that means a lot to a team.
You know, and the great thing about Matt, because this is so close to his home, his wife, his kids are all here today, all having a great time, and they got to see Matt Kovaluk bring home another win at Lime Rock. Perry Waite, his crew chief, doing such a great job. Give Perry Waite the call on that fuel stop. Made that fuel call early in the race.
Man, we talked about it. We wasn't sure that was the right call.
I know there was one left-hand turns, but she was right.
Bragging about that race car.
Yep.
That's for sure. But you're right, Mike. I mean, to take that fuel early like that was a risky call, but man, it worked out to his advantage.
His 4th win of the season. He won the other road course race at Watkins Glen. He's now won 3 races in a row. Nashville, Adirondack, and here at Lime Rock, and he has extended his points lead over Trevor Bain, who finished back in 17th position. Mark Davis finishes 2nd for the 2nd time this season.
Good run by Mark Davis and that whole Gibbs team. Peyton Sellers, Andy Santerre Racing finishes 3rd. Good run for him here today. And Jesus Hernandez, Mike, talked about him. A DEI car finishes 4th.
And Mike Olson shows he's still got it when it comes to road racing. He finishes 5th. And we knew that Eric Curran was going to have a good opportunity today. And Eric Curran in the 31 car, his first E-Series race, but not his first race by any stretch here at Lime Rock, comes home with a strong 6th place finish. And Steve Park, who led some laps today, winds up 7th. Max Dumouriez, who was angry at the middle of the race, comes home with a top 10 finish. So does Jeff Anton and the youngster Alex Kennedy. And there comes some donuts.
Donut time. Motor builder's nightmare right here. Get what's left out of that motor.
Yeah, but you know the good thing about Matt Kovaluk? He owns the team.
Yeah, he can do it. You're exactly right. Yes, he does. His dad, the truck driver on that car, whole family operation. Mom and dad are most of the races. His wife Lori comes. Son racing quarter midgets now. So
he's here today. So is the daughter. Yeah.
Bringing them up in the racing world.
We'll see them all in Victory Lane in just a moment.
Matt has smoked the house.
Yeah, he has. He'll emerge from that smoke in a moment. Well, his car sponsor sponsored the race, Mohegan Sun, and so he did him proud today. No doubt about that.
Good day for Matt Kovaluk and his whole team, sponsor, like you said, to come here and win a race. Your sponsor means a lot.
So Matt Kovaluk will now head to Victory Lane. Our Natalie Taylor will be heading there as well, and we'll get a chance to talk with him in just a moment about his 3rd win in a row. And before we do, let's take again a look at the unofficial top 10. And we talked about Mark Davis, a good statement race for him on a road course to finish 2nd.
Oh, it is, especially a tricky course like this, fast course, road course. Mark has not done a lot of road course racing, and just an outstanding run for Mark Davis and that whole Joe Gibbs racing team.
Peyton Sellers, Jesus Hernandez. We talked about Eric Curran, the road racer. That Ted Marsh car, number 31 with James Busher, finished 6th last year.
Yes,
so it's a 6th place car.
Yes, it is. But, be happy for that. Nice top 10. I'm sure they'd like to finish up there in the podium, but unfortunate for him they haven't. And Steve Park, like he said, to be able to hang around there all day to bring that car back up towards the front, good run for Steve Park here at Lime Rock.
And Max Dumouriez, who was totally disgusted with his car. The brakes weren't working right. The power steering wasn't working right. He ended up having a flat tire. And, it shows a lot when a young driver can bounce back from all of that. Dumouriez's only 19 years old. To bounce back and finish 8th says a lot for him.
It is. Good run for him. And Jeff Anton, underfunded team. These guys struggle. He works on his own cars. Super run for Jeff Anton and that whole team week in and week out. He deserved a good top 10 finish.
Yeah, Anton knows how to drive these road courses. Of course, his dad, Ray Anton, a great Corvette road racer in days gone by. There's Matt Kovaluk, got the helmet off, big smile on his face. congrats all around. In a moment, we'll see him after he unbuckles that safety equipment. Pop out of that race car, and I think Natalie Taylor is down there somewhere.
Down here, but not trying to interrupt the congratulations as he gets his neck brace out, getting out of the car here.
Yeah, let him pop on out of there, Natalie. Here comes the excitement and the cheers.
You should see the fans down here. There have been tons of fans coming down the hill to celebrate. Matt, home state, your family's here, and your sponsor is the race sponsor. Does it get any better than this?
You tell me. I don't think it can. I mean, this is, I'll tell you, to go 3 in a row, to win here at the Mohegan Sun 200, and to have everybody here, the crew was phenomenal. Yesterday, today, you know, the rain delay, I knew we had them covered. It was just a matter of circumstances on the racetrack. So, great day for Mohegan Sun and this whole team. I mean, these guys are the best.
We know you were excited to come here and love this track, but if you had to say it, how much was confidence and how much of this win was your car?
You know, heck,